There's a phrase people repeat like gospel: happy wife, happy life. But notice what's missing. No one ever says, happy husband, happy life. Because somewhere along the way, men's happiness was removed from the equation. The unspoken rule became simple: keep her content at all costs. Suppress yourself. Delay your dreams. Swallow your frustration. And if you do everything right, maybe, just maybe, you'll be allowed peace in your own home. But something has changed. Men aren't fighting this system anymore. They're walking away from it. They're choosing solitude over a deal that only works one way. And for some women, that decision is shocking. The disbelief is real. You'd rather be alone than be with me? Yes, because being alone hurts less than being constantly judged, disrespected, and reduced to a wallet with emotions. Here's the truth most people don't want to confront. The lie that destroys modern relationships is the idea that a man must erase himself to keep a partner satisfied. Not mutually happy, not equally fulfilled. Just her comfort, her mood, her expectations. Your ambitions? Optional. Your peace? Negotiable. Your needs? Labeled selfish. That dynamic guarantees one outcome. Only one person matters, and it isn't you. I once worked with a man who hadn't taken a single vacation in 5 years. Not because of money. Because his wife didn't feel like traveling. He worked 60-hour weeks. She stayed home. Yet somehow, he was still not doing enough. Every paycheck disappeared into her desires, her renovations, her version of life. The moment he asked for one thing, visiting his aging parents, he was accused of being selfish. Today he's divorced and recently returned from a month alone in Europe. Every photo shows the same thing: relief. In many relationships, men aren't allowed to be unhappy. You stay quiet for months, even years, thinking silence keeps the peace. But the moment you voice one concern, just one, you're buried under a historical archive of every mistake you've ever made. Oh, you're unhappy? Well, let's revisit that forgotten birthday from 2016. Your feelings aren't heard. They're weaponized. You say you're exhausted from work. At least you get to leave the house. You say you feel unappreciated. All you want is validation. You express sadness or frustration. You're too sensitive. Something's wrong with you. But when she has emotions, everything stops. Everyone listens. Hours are dedicated to processing them. Men are expected to carry everyone's emotional weight while never having any of their own. Your fear of losing your job? Less important than her stress about a social event. Your grief over losing a parent? Put it aside. She had a bad day at work. Your depression? Stop killing the vibe. Men aren't treated like partners. They're treated like emotional service animals, present to comfort, forbidden to need comfort. Some partners maintain detailed emotional ledgers. Every minor disappointment carefully saved. 5 minutes late, logged. Wrong gift, archived. Missed compliment, remembered forever. These records are resurrected in every argument. Not to resolve anything, but to ensure you never win. One man told me his ex-wife kept a literal notebook of his failures. Not betrayals. Not abuse. Tiny moments. Didn't notice her earrings. Watched TV instead of talking. Fell asleep during a movie. She'd quoted during fights like legal evidence. That's when he realized he wasn't married. He was on trial, with a verdict already decided. Men's hobbies are usually the next target. An hour of gaming? You're immature. Working on your car? You care more about machines than people. Going to the gym? You're probably cheating. Watching sports? Waste of time. Any activity that brings you peace becomes a threat. I know men who sold motorcycles, quit bands, abandoned workshops, left sports leagues, just to avoid conflict. Did it help? No, because the problem was never the hobby. The problem was that you had joy that didn't involve her. There's a popular counterargument. Men should build purpose first. If you're grounded, confident, disciplined, the relationship improves. Sometimes it does. But notice the burden. It's still entirely on men. Her behavior becomes conditional on your perfection. She'll be kind if you're strong enough. She'll be respectful if you earn it daily. She'll be loving if you never falter. Why is her basic decency always your responsibility? That's not partnership. That's manipulation. Imagine if men said, "I'll only be faithful if you never age." Or, "I'll only provide if you stay thin forever." We'd call that abuse. But when women make respect conditional on male performance, it's normalized. Many modern relationships feel like extraction systems. Maximum demands, minimum contribution, constant effort returned with criticism. Stability rewarded with control. Some people believe their presence alone is the gift. That men should be grateful for any attention, even hostile attention. Affection often disappears not because of stress or exhaustion, but because of contempt. The man who complies with everything becomes unattractive, not physically, but emotionally. Then intimacy is sought elsewhere. And when discovered, it's your fault. You weren't exciting enough. Men are terrified to enforce boundaries. They've been taught that saying no is abuse, that standards are toxic, that self-respect is control. So they tolerate disrespect. And the disrespect escalates until they're nothing more than roommates who pay bills. When men accept endless disrespect, they don't just lose authority. They lose identity. Every swallowed insult erodes dignity. Every compromise deletes a piece of self. Until one day, the mirror reflects someone unrecognizable. Respect, not devotion, is what sustains relationships. Boundaries create attraction. Overgiving destroys it. I once worked with a woman who admitted after divorce that she'd taken everything and given nothing. Expected effort. Refused to change. Demanded growth. Offered none. She learned something radical. Caring about your partner improves your own life. Real partnerships aren't 50-50 every day. Sometimes it's 70-30ths. Sometimes 40-60ths. But when it's always 90 out of 10, that's not love. That's exploitation. Dating today feels transactional. Profiles read like resumes. Height, income, assets. Love isn't even mentioned. A good man with average earnings is invisible. A bad man with money gets attention. And then people are shocked when those relationships collapse. Men are realizing something important. Peace is not loneliness. Loneliness can exist inside relationships. Being alone is quieter than being constantly diminished. Single men are thriving. Careers grow. Health improves. Sleep returns. One man lost 30 pounds and stopped antidepressants after divorce, not because of fitness, but because the stress disappeared. Men are rediscovering themselves, playing instruments again, rebuilding friendships, traveling freely. Money accumulates when it's not spent soothing someone else's emotions. Young men are watching, learning, choosing differently. Shame doesn't work anymore. You'll die alone isn't scary when life is peaceful. Everyone dies alone. The question is how you live before that. Men aren't angry. They're relieved. Relieved they chose dignity. Relieved they chose peace. Relieved they chose themselves. The idea of happy wife, happy life is fading. It's being replaced by something simpler. A happy life is a happy life. And men are finally allowing themselves to have one.